Milk doesn't look like much at first, but this one pot can turn into 4 completely different cheeses in under 2 hours. With just a few small changes, you can go from soft, spreadable curds to a firm, sliceable block that you can fry in a pan. Once you understand what is happening, you can control the texture every single time. Hi friend, come on in. Cheese making has a reputation for being complicated. You hear about cultures, rennet, aging, and special equipment, and it can feel out of reach. But there is a much simpler starting point. These are fresh, acid-based cheeses. There is no aging, no special tools, just milk, heat, and acid. This works as a one-base, two-path system that gives you 4 different results depending on how you finish the curds. Everything starts with hot milk. From there, you choose your acid. Lemon juice gives you a clean, bright cheese, while vinegar gives you something more tangy and savory. After that, the texture comes down to how you drain or press the curds. Before getting into the process, there is one rule that will save you from a lot of frustration. Do not use ultra-pasteurized or shelf-stable milk. The proteins in that milk have been damaged by high heat and will not form proper curds. Regular pasteurized milk is what you want here. Whole milk will give you a richer result, but lower fat milk will still work and will give you a slightly firmer texture. To get started, pour about half a gallon, 2 quarts, or 2 liters of milk into a pot and begin heating it gently. You are aiming for about 200 degrees Fahrenheit or about 95 degrees Celsius, which is just under a full boil. Stir occasionally at first, then more frequently as it gets hotter so the milk does not scorch to the bottom. Once it reaches temperature, everything moves pretty quickly. The first path uses lemon juice and makes paneer, a cheese that is especially good for frying, cubing, or adding to curries. Once the milk is hot, turn off the heat and add about 3 tablespoons of bottled lemon juice. Bottled juice is actually preferred here because the acidity is consistent, while fresh lemons can vary quite a bit. As you stir gently, the milk will begin to separate into soft white curds and a yellow-green liquid called whey. If the liquid still looks cloudy, add a little more lemon juice, 1 tablespoon at a time, until the whey clears. It is important to stir gently during this step so the curds stay large and more intact. What is happening here is simple once you see it. Milk proteins normally repel each other, which is what keeps milk smooth and liquid. When you add acid, that repulsion is neutralized, and the proteins are able to come together and clump into curds. Once the curds have formed, strain them out and rinse them under cold water. This step removes the lemon flavor and stops the cooking so the texture stays where you want it. Use a nut milk bag, finely woven cheesecloth, or non-terry tea towel to keep the curds contained. From here, you can decide what kind of cheese you want. If you let it drain briefly, you will have a soft, creamy cheese that spreads easily. If you let it drain longer, it becomes more crumbly and dry. If you want a firm block, wrap the curds and press them with a light weight for about an hour. It's important not to press too hard. Too much pressure will push out too much moisture and leave you with a dry, crumbly block that does not slice well. With lighter pressure, the cheese holds onto some moisture and becomes dense, sliceable, and almost meaty in texture. I found about 2 cups of water to be the perfect weight. This is paneer and it holds its shape when cooked, which makes it perfect for frying or adding to hot dishes. The second path uses vinegar and produces a cheese similar to panela. This version is slightly tangier and a bit more savory than the paneer. While heating the milk, add about a teaspoon of salt directly into the pot. That helps season the cheese from the beginning. Once the milk is hot, turn off the heat and add vinegar a tablespoon at a time, stirring gently just like before. The milk will separate into curds and whey in the same way. As soon as the whey clears, you know you have added enough acid. At this point, strain the curds, but do not rinse them. The vinegar and salt give this cheese its flavor, so you want to keep that in place. Again, the texture depends on how you finish it. A shorter drain will give you a soft, crumbly cheese that works well for topping dishes. If you press it lightly for about 30 minutes, you will get a firmer block. This version stays more moist and slightly springy compared to paneer. It does not fully melt, but it softens nicely, which makes it great for grilling or adding to warm dishes. With this one method, you end up with 4 different cheeses from the same starting point. Lemon gives you a cleaner, brighter flavor, while vinegar gives you something more tangy and savory. Draining keeps things soft and crumbly, while pressing creates a firm, sliceable block. If you have ever made yogurt, this process is part of the same spectrum. Yogurt forms a soft protein network that holds onto liquid, creating a smooth texture. Here, we are pushing that process further by separating those proteins into distinct curds that can be drained and shaped. There was a time when making cheese at home was much more common. You could even find rennet in the dairy section to make more traditional cheeses. Over time, we have moved further away from that process and from understanding how food like this is made. This is a simple way to reconnect with that idea and see just how much control you can have over something as basic as milk. After straining, you are left with whey, and it is worth saving. It can be used in bread doughs, soups, or anywhere you would normally use water. It adds a little extra flavor and makes use of everything you started with. In the end, this all comes back to one simple method: 1 pot of milk, 2 different acids, and a choice in how you handle the curds. From there, you can spread it on toast, crumble it over bowls or tacos, or slice it and fry it until golden. It's all the same process, just finished in different ways.